In this one, I want to answer the question, how can we tell if a table represents an onto function? So first, let's review the definition. A function is onto if its range equals the target. And since in this video we're building up to talking about graph isomorphism, it makes sense that our tables contain sets of vertices. So here you can see the set of vertices for the graph G1, the set of vertices for the graph G2, and the set of vertices for the graph G3. Now over here on the left, we have a table that represents the function f1 from the set of vertices of the graph G1 to the set of vertices of the graph G3. And over here, we have a table that represents the function f2 from the set of vertices of the graph G1 to the set of vertices of the graph G2. So now let's first see if the function f1 is onto or not. Now in blue, I'll draw arrows indicating where W1 is sent, where W2 is sent, and so on. So W1 is sent over to U1. W2 is sent over to U2. W3 is sent over to U4. And W4 is sent over to U3. So remember that the range is a set of outputs. So in red, I'll circle the range. And in green, I'll circle the target. That's just everything. So here you can see that the range does not equal the target. So f1 is not onto. Now let's determine whether or not f2 is onto. So from the table, I can see that W1 goes over to V3. W2 goes over to V1. W3 goes over to V4. And W4 goes over to V2. And again, I'll circle the range, the outputs, in red. And I'll circle the target, really everything, in green. And so in this case, you can see that, in fact, the range equals the target. So f2 is onto. Now, what is it about our tables that tell us this? That tell us these facts? So notice in this first table over on the left for f1, there's nothing in this entry here, right? You could even say something like does not exist, right? There's nothing in G1 that gets sent over to U5. Whereas looking at F2, you can see there is no D&Es there. So if you have a blank spot in the column on the left, then it's not onto, right? So that tells me not onto. Over here, there is no D and E's, so we know this is onto. Now remember, all this information revolves around, or all of these tests where you look at the table, they revolve around, you have to have the entire table filled out. If you leave rows out of the table, then these rules don't work. So make sure you write everything in your table before you use these rules.